Look what we got here. Starting with your governmental beliefs, I don't agree with republicanism all that much. Although, what can I say, I don't like it because authoritarianism and you like authoritarianism. So critiquing republicanism would be useless here. I do not understand why you think monarchy is reactionary though. Monarchy has a genuine pragmatic reason to exist and calling it a reactionary institution seems meaningless. Like my spiel on republicanism, I personally don't like technocracy, but I would see its usefulness in a more centralized and statist government. I'm not going to critique reforms since I'm not too informed on anything you mention there, but I do want to mention that you place the autocracy file next to Chancellor, and that's pretty close to monarchism, at least if I am interpreting you correctly. Onto succession and promotion, I see that you mention that you are selected not solely to public opinion, and I'm just curious. Since you said not solely, how much public opinion does have on your selection? The general idea of having others vote for your technocratic leaders still seems counterproductive, in my opinion, because you are 1. Taking time away from things that do matter and 2. Just my general critique of democracy as a whole, really, because voters can still just vote for bad people. Even if it is the technocratic council members, because the council members still have to waste their time researching on the new guys coming into the council. So it just seems way too counterproductive, and if I was a fascist like you I would pick something like monarcho-syndicalism. Now onto economics. See, I don't think you realize just how important selfishness is. You seem to have a disdain for the profit-driven nature of the bourgeoisie, and note that it conflicts with national interests. But you see, your national interest is, and I cite, from you, to maximize happiness. The reason why people are selfish and driven by profit in the first place is because they are trying to maximize their happiness. To want to maximize happiness in a country, but also simultaneously want to bog the people down with tight regulation so that they are both efficient and subservient is bafflingly oxymoronic as all hell. I do somewhat agree with your expansion of foreign industries. Although, there is a reason why autarky never works. It is simply too unstable, as there is less product able to be supplied, and your state would have to have industry for everything, instead of being able to rely on imports for some specific things. Although I understand your want for wanting to be fully self-sufficient in many things, such as food production, but that simply would be too difficult of a task. Onto social views, I respect the feminism and the opposition to affirmative action. Seeing that your state heavily relies on skilled individuals, affirmative action would be greatly counterproductive. What is impossible though, is preventing affirmative action, as your strategy to invite new council members is still largely democratic, and you can't stop any of the voters' biases on affirmative action, whether they are for it. They will simply give a different reason as to why they chose a member to be a part of the council. On your transgender beliefs, I used to be like you. I used to believe that transgenderism was a mental illness, and I still do, but I don't believe that psychiatric help will do much. Lastly, I can critique your opposition to pornography in a social Darwinist perspective. You believe that it negatively affects society, because? I seriously don't even know LOL, while I believe that it positively affects society. Reason being, if an individual ruins their life from an addiction, it shows that they are not deserving of life. Likewise, if an individual uses pornography in a good manner and is still largely okay, removing something they like would be counterproductive and make this person less productive as a result. Onto education, I don't believe that your strategy of mandated reading will do anything. I remember being in 5th grade, I and all my friends, a large majority of the school, fucking hated reading, as we were forced to read 30 minutes a day after school. Kids are naturally rebellious, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Also same with your national anthem and flag mandating. We all used to do the national anthem in class. I for sure know that every single person who does it does not do it because they love their country, but simply because they were expected of doing it. I remember, back when I was doing it, I stopped at around 6th grade, I remember singing the anthem, but there were no thoughts going on in my head about how good our nation is. I firmly remember not having any thoughts whatsoever during every anthem that I could remember. Mandated anthem singing does nothing to increase pridefulness in your state. For culture, I don't have much to say, but nobody is forcing you to accept foreign values and systems. If anything, the destruction of your culture just goes to show that your culture is weak in the first place. For military and defense, I do quite agree with your idea to have the military be the main focus of the state. Although I don't agree with conscription. Now, I know you didn't necessarily quote that, but it seems to be implied in Kim Il-sung's second policy. This is where your main beliefs get smaller, so I will no longer note what part 1 I'm on, only critiques I find. I agree with your idea on technological progression, as military, medicine, and power are all very important for the life of the individual and of your nation too. I also agree that green power should be put into place as quickly as possible, and likewise to eliminate fossil fuels as quickly as possible. I'm still meddling on nuclear power, although I don't believe it should be used, but that's only because of my ideas and circumstances. For national essence, I am not an essentialist, as I believe that it is a deeply fallacious belief. Someone who might share the same heritage as the country does not have any essence to them. And likewise keeping people out who want to be part of your nation but are not of the same heritage seems very counterproductive, in my opinion. I personally see the same delusion of racialism as I do with ethnic nationalism. Ethnicity does not have any control over what culture you follow, nor the history, nor the social factors. With that said, ethnic faiths are dumb too. Also, I don't know why you hate Japan, as it has somewhat the thing you're going for.